MedBix Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming. Welcome to the MedBix Webcast. This is Ramana Annamaraju. I'm the host. So we have an interesting program today. Is the patient adherence. This is a big problem in the U.S. healthcare system. Not only U.S. healthcare system. This is all over the world. It's a global problem. Patients don't follow the orders of the doctors. Whatever the reasons are. I gave some of the reasons: side effects and forgetfulness and confusion. All those things are involved. So we're going to ask an expert. He is one of the doctor, Harvard-educated doctor, Dr. William Bayer. He came up with a remarkable, simple solution for these reminders. Particularly for children, they don't follow that instructions. They listen to the teddy bears, and so he came up with a brilliant, simple solution for the reminders, for the medication reminders. So let me bring Dr. William Bayer. He's a Harvard-educated doctor. Let me ask him on the welcome, Dr. Bayer. Welcome to the MedBix Webcast.
Oh, thank you so much.
So give me your professional background a little bit. Where did you go to school? Where did you do your residency? And how did you end up in Rochester?
Oh yeah, well, I did my medical school training at Harvard Med School, and I'm actually here for my 45th reunion in Boston. But I did my residency at the University of Rochester Medical Center in family practice, and I left the country did some missionary work for a few years, and then came back to the Rochester area and worked as a family practice doctor for about 35 years in the downtown Rochester, kind of a urban area, high need, and had a very fun practice and enjoyed it quite a bit. I retired from clinical practice, and now I'm working on this problem of medication adherence or medication non-adherence.
You said that I've been to Rochester one time. That the beautiful downtown is like urban area, truly urban that is. So it's a beautiful Niagara Falls there. But let me ask you a question. That what is interest you got into why you got the interest of patient adherence? What inspired you to do the patient adherence problem? Why there is a problem to start with? Explain to me. You were treating patients for a long time. And you must have felt that a lot of patients don't pay attention to the patient doctor's orders. What is your experience?
Well, it's funny. I think as doctors, the patients overestimate how often they're taking their medicine, and the doctors overestimate. I think the doctors think that I'm giving advice, and obviously people are going to take it, but it just doesn't work out that way. In fact, this has been a problem for a long time. Hippocrates, 2,500 years ago, 500 BC, stated that patients often lie about the taking of their medicine. So
this is 2,500 years ago.
Yeah, right. The founder of medicine, Hippocrates and all these things. But he was aware. Maybe the medicines were a little more, less palatable back in the day. But the patient-doctor relationship hasn't changed that much, because I've been lied to more times than a priest, I think, as far as people telling me that they're taking the medicine, they're not really taking it. Go ahead.
What are the reasons you think?
Pardon?
What are the reasons why they don't listen to the doctor? What are the reasons?
I think the reasons are as varied as each individual patient. Some folks just don't want to take the medicine. Some folks are forgetful. Some folks think there's just too much, or some people can't pay. Sometimes the regimen is too complicated. Sometimes it's 4 times a day, which nobody can remember. So there's a lot of different reasons, and we have to look at each reason as we're working with patients to help them remember their medications. I think I was just reading something today that if a patient's regimen is not working, the first question you should ask is a patient taking their medicine properly? Because over half of patients are not taking their medicine properly, no matter what study. No, and you were saying how it's a world problem. In the United States, half of prescribed medicines are actually taken, half. So that means most of our patients are not taking their medicines on a regular basis. But in Africa or in other countries, it's even more dire. Only, I think 70%, only 30% of medicines are taken correctly, like in Africa. And it's also worse in African American patients here in the United States, and also it's socioeconomics play a role as well. But I'll tell you what alerted me to this problem was I had a patient with high blood pressure. And so I gave the patient a blood pressure pill. Comes back, his blood pressure is only a little better a month later. So I give him another blood pressure pill. Comes back, his blood pressure isn't much better. So I give him another blood pressure pill. So what does he do? He really wasn't taking any of them with any regularity, but he told me he was. So, and I assumed he was telling the truth. So what did he do? One day he decided, I'm going to take my medicine. He takes all 3 of his blood pressure pills and he's driving and he passes out and runs into a tree. So then I realized that I am misguided in thinking that people are taking their medicines regularly.
So, the indirect cost of the not taking the medication, they end up in a hospital like that accident, the cost of the healthcare system overall is going to be dramatically increased because of the reason, right? That's definitely one of the major reasons. If you're saying if 50% of the population don't take it and they don't adhere to the medications on time, it is actually a dramatic increase in the healthcare costs. So overall, there's a huge effect on the system. So we need to address that market. So you came up with the idea that tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Yeah, you're right though. If medication non-adherence was a diagnosis, it would be the leading cause of hospitalization. It causes 15 to 20% of hospitalizations, 3 million hospitalizations a year. You can do the math. Each hospitalization is probably $50,000. So I think that's about $1 billion a year, something like that. So yeah. So anyway, one thing I was successful in getting my patients better was I formed diabetes groups. And in these groups, they didn't really learn any miracle treatments for diabetes, but what they did learn was trust and peer support from each other, peer pressure and peer support. So I thought, well, how can I do that in a way that for people that don't have the time or ability to attend groups? And then I thought of a bear. My name is Dr. Bear, so maybe there was a correlation there. But anyway, but some way of a supportive device that people can become really attached to and respond positively to take their medicine. A device that asks twice a day if you're taking your medicine. Here's my little bear right here.
Yeah.
Teddy. And Teddy asks twice a day if you're taking your medicine, and then you're supposed to respond by pressing the yes paw, or that's the no paw, or the yes paw. I guess it's backward. Okay. And then those responses are recorded in the brain, the bear's little brain right here, and then the patient can prove to their doctor, their family, and themselves that they've been taking their medicine regularly. So with my patients, they bring the bear in, and the bear tells me how well they've been taking their medicine. And then I can make an informed decision based on those statistics, so that instead of adding more medicine, I will say, well, listen, you're only taking your medicine 60% of the time. Why don't we try to get to 100% before we actually say that the medicine's not working? And I think this prevents what they call polypharmacy, because the doctors tend to keep stacking medicines on top of another, whether it's for depression, asthma, seizures, high blood pressure. We just keep stacking medicine on top of the other because we assume the patients are taking the medicine with most of the time they're not.
Is there any difference between the adults and then children adherence problem? I believe that teddy bear is more geared towards children, right? So is there any difference between the adherence problem between the between the children and the adults?
Not really. It's between 40 and 60% non-adherence to no matter what disease you're talking about and no matter what age you're talking about. I think it's because the parents who are non-adherent themselves are telling the kids to take the medicine, and they're not particularly too keen on it themselves. But 20% of children are prescribed regular medicines, whether it be for asthma, seizures, ADHD, things like that. So it's a significant amount. And 60% of people, 60% of adults are supposed to take medicine regularly, are prescribed medicine to take regularly, and 20% of kids. So it's a substantial number of people. But yeah, now our bear is not really just focused for kids. We did a study in adult diabetics, type 2 diabetics, and we found that after 3 months of having the bear compared to a control group, the diabetics that got Mediteti, their blood sugar was 30 points lower than the group that did not get the bear. So it really helped adults significantly improve their diabetes control. And that would mean that they would live about 3 to 5 years longer and have about 20% fewer complications from diabetes if they continued on that road.
It is hard to hard to lie to a teddy bear, because they can lie to the doctor, but hard to say to lie to themselves. I feel like that is a good way of psychological pressure on the patients to do that. Actually, that is one. I saw something in your notes about that not only teddy bear, you're also involved in the social family and friends and social networks. Tell us a little bit about that. How does it work in the social network area?
Well, I'll just give you a couple of examples. We had a young boy who had seizures and depression and some autism, and his parents were fighting him to take his medicine. They were holding him down to take his medicine, which was not successful. So and so he eventually was having so many seizures that he was kicked out of school. So the parents bought the bear, and for some reason, just like they listened to the bear more than they listened to Dr. Bear, for some reason he started taking the medicine for the bear, but not for his parents. And within a month, he was back in school and doing very well, and seizure-free for the last 6 months. So that social interaction there, we kind of broke the impasse by sending the bear in as an intermediary. And then we've had other people say, I don't have to be the bad guy anymore. Like a wife with a husband, she's always thought of the bad guy and trying to get him to take his medicine, but he'll take the medicine for the bear, but not for his wife. So who knows?
Excellent point. That is an excellent point.
So
you don't look like a bad guy, so they let the bear take that blunt.
And the bear is not judgmental. Like there's always some kind of overlying complication between people, interactions between people, and interactions between people. But between the people and the bear, it's all positive.
Are there any social networks also connected to the bear, can connect to the family and friends? Yeah. What is this process, the technology that you involve to do simple reminder, or you have incorporated any advanced technologies in this bear?
No, it's the bear's a unique entity within itself. So the reason I made it that way is so that there's absolutely no programming necessary. Because I hate programming even my watch. I have to have my grandson program my watch for me. So I just made the bear, and I could show you how the bear works.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So all you have to do is turn the bear on in the morning when you take your medicine. So say it's 8 a.m. Then you turn the bear on at 8 a.m. and every day at 8 a.m. it's going to ask you if you took your medicine. It's also going to ask you either 10 or 12 hours later, depending on the bear.
Can Teddy talk? Can it talk?
Yeah. So I just opened the back here,
okay.
And I'm just turning on the switch. It's also the power cord goes in the back as well. So it needs recharging about every 3 months. So, okay, let's pretend it's 8 a.m. and we've just got the bear yesterday, and now we're going to turn the bear on.
Hi, I'm Medibear. I'm here to help you remember to take your medicine. Every morning at this time, I will ask you if you took your medicine. I will ask you again in 10 hours, then every day at the same time. Let's get started.
That's just the introduction.
That's very good.
Wow,
Strong voice.
really good today. How about you? Press my yes paw if you took your medicine. Maybe that will wake me up. Or press my no paw if you did not take your medicine.
Okay, Ramana, did you take your medicine today?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll say yes.
Hey, you are smarter than the average bear today. Later, Gator.
So it says about 30 or 40 different things, and it's always very positive. If you said no, it would have said, I'm sorry, you're not taking your medicine. What's going on? Maybe you should contact your doctor, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then the second thing it does, as I said earlier, it stores your answers. And so that by pressing both paws at the same time for 6 seconds, it will give you what your statistics are.
Hi, I'm glad to see you. Ready to hear the statistics? Press my yes paw to begin. Press my no paw to quit now.
It has 2 volumes. It's on loud today.
Statistics for 7 days. Positive responses, 33%.
So this person hasn't been doing
Negative
well.
responses, 67%. Missed responses, 0%.
So if a patient comes in, or my nurse calls them on the phone and gets their compliance data, if they're at 30%, I'm not going to be increasing or changing their medicine. I'm going to try to get them to take the medicine 100% of the time. And I think this will avoid, a tremendous amount of polypharmacy and also a tremendous amount of waste. There's a lot of medicine going down the drain in people's toilets and stored in people's medicine cabinets.
Dr. Bayer, I want to be a little bit skeptical about the other side of the arm from technology, Silicon Valley. They say we have AI things are there, a lot of new technology is coming up. Alexa is there. Why do we need a kind of a teddy bear? I have an answer for that. Actually, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Simple things are very good in my view. So tell us a little bit about what do you think in your view.
None of the AI or none of our technological advances since Hippocrates have really addressed the idea of human motivation and human behavior.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the key. In fact, it amazes me today. I was just thinking yesterday or today that human behavior really hasn't changed that much. People are still
not much.
Almost a more mean in some ways than they were 1,000 years ago. So anyway, I think the technology, the more, especially someone who's older and younger, which is a lot of people that benefit from our bears are in those 2 groups.
You're absolutely correct.
The more technology, the less effective the medium is going to be.
I agree no more. The human that is centuries and 1,000 centuries is the same thing. People are humans. Because of the computer selling you to do that, people don't do it. It is that human connection has to be there. And so for example, for me, if my daughter calls and tell Dad, if you promise me you're going to take that, if I don't take it, I feel very guilty about it because my daughter, I promised her that is that. So any kind of a human emotion interaction with a teddy bear or something, that the animal or a dog that my son works with, he's a fascination about dog, and then all these things that very powerful impact on human psyche. I agree with you. That is a very powerful way of addressing some of the. I was talking to the Kaiser Permanente medical officer one time. He was telling me that one of the things they have a big problem in Kaiser is the patient adherence problem. I think you need to think about a bigger way to reach a lot more bigger institutions and see that how this kind of things incorporate into their human emotional aspect of it. That is a part of this adherence problem.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to connect with the folks at Kaiser Permanente. If you happen to have any connections there, I'd love to. I'd love to.
I will do my best for you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, Dr. Bayer. So Rochester is a, you live in close to Niagara Falls, right across Canada. Right. So are there any the global system? Do you have any influence in your teddy bears that you sold in Canada?
I haven't tried Canada yet. I'm still working hard in the United States here, so I've got my plate full, uh, just with the United States. But actually, I am working with a group in Africa because, as I mentioned before,
Oh,
there's a
okay.
70% non-adherence rate in Africa, and a lot of it is cultural. And these are even in patients that have access to their medicines, their fear of modern medicine and their general other priorities have kept them from taking their medicines regularly. These are medicines like for infectious diseases, but also blood pressure and things like that, which it can be a big problem over there. So we have our bear talks Spanish and also Swahili. So
Oh,
uh,
really? So
so we're going
you practiced in downtown Rochester. That means you have a large African American population of patients, right? For you,
yeah. Oh, I was 95% African American.
so you understand. I married a black woman, so my ex-wife. But one of the thing is that I found out this camphor, they use a little bit of all these things, strange stuff, like India also, they wanted to
Mhm.
use different things. So it's kind of a very strange process. They you have to really patient adherence is a challenging a lot of times, and I think a person like you with all the background understanding of the cultural sensitivities, is it's a very helpful. People understand because you understand the culture and the sensitivities of those, their psychology and everything. I think you coming from you will be very effective in that sense.
Yeah, African Americans have probably a healthy distrust of the American medical system. They've been the subject of experiments, ghastly experiments like in the Tuskegee Institute and stuff like that. So I have studied a little bit the African American attitude towards medicine. I did a study on end of life measures, and turns out that the African Americans want more end of life measures than the Euro American or Caucasian folks.
Yeah.
They're less inclined to accept hospice and things like that. So
Yeah.
there is a distrust of American medicine. Now, in my practice, we had the best blood pressure control in the county, but this is because I was very aggressive in following up people's blood pressure and brought them in frequently to get their blood pressure checked. And after 30 or so years, people started to trust me a little better too.
Dr. Bayer is a really fascinating talk. You just is a simple and but powerful solution that you have. That is a
Thank you.
lot of people struggle with this adherence problem. It is one of them. They can adopt they can. How can when I'm going to present the topic, you may like it. He is a gentleman like you. Then I'm going to talk about a presentation I'm going to do. After that, I come back and ask you your website and how they can purchase your teddy bears. Okay, so you can watch with me and you can jump in anytime my presentation you want to do. This is
Okay.
about the yeah. So you're going to be staying with me. I'm going to bring you into the side. We're going to be side together. Okay, that you're on the side. You can watch. I'm going to talk about a gentleman, true gentleman, but he's not a doctor, but he is a biomedical engineer. He changed the world of biomedical healthcare industry. People don't know his name. He does look like a little bit of like Dr. Bayer, but let us talk about him. Who is that guy is. So is actually I want to talk with you. Is the name one of the famous astronomer actually. His name. A lot of people think all the people scientists are nerdy guys, but there is a one gentleman, Edwin Hubble. He was born in 1889, and I tell you, this guy is done amazing things. He was a boxer. He beat the boxing. He was the championships. He was an Oxford trained lawyer, and then he won the championship for the basketball for the Chicago University of Chicago, and he was one of the most famous astronomer you can imagine. He is one of the most famous astronomer, and the Hubble telescope. He had he had the name named after him. Hubble is Edwin Hubble. He found out what the reason I'm mentioning to him is he found out there is a universe is expanding rapidly farther away from the galaxies, or they're going faster away from each other. So it is a accelerating pace. The universe is expanding. Eventually, that's called heat death. We are all everything is going to be expanding, and then we will be alone by our solar system, and then eventually everything will be dead. So that's called heat death, they call. So that's what he found out in March 29, 1929. He used a special effect called Doppler effect, expanding universe. That's a Doppler effect. He used it. So that is called a Doppler effect. I'm going to, Doppler effect is very interesting. You see that when you stand next to the siren ambulance, you can hear that. I'm going to play very quick ambulance play, so you will know that I'm going to play that. Just So what happens is that sound waves are coming, they are crunched together and then coming faster and quicker. That's why you get a much more higher pitch that you hear. And then when there's going away, it's actually it is you can see the sound going down, because that not only the distance, the waveform is affecting. That is called a Doppler effect, Doppler shift. It is called. That's why the use not only for any sound, not only sound, you can we use for any electromagnetic spectrum. You can use for the light waves. You can use anything in the in any radiation. You can use Doppler effect. You can measure the Doppler effect. It's a mathematical one. So that's why police measure the radar guns. What they do is there is a Doppler effect. If you're coming, how fast you're coming towards you, that would tell you that how fast. That is a Doppler effect. So actually, in fact, if they need to really to get a real measurement, they have to stand in between the interstate, but it's not safe to stand in between. So they next to the side, and they shoot the gun to the car to measure the speed. So actually, a lot of people say, "Oh, your equipment is not good." So I can go and tell the judge that actually, to be honest with you, I tell you about scientific fact. In fact, you're speeding more than what showed in this radar Doppler in his radar, police radar, because actually on the side it registers less speed. You're actually speeding more than that, so you don't have much defense there. So don't go using a radar defense there. So that is a Doppler effect. Doppler effect is extremely popular. It's a weather radar, for example, as you know. Actually, what they do, they send the radio waves, and then Rochester, we have a lot of snow. That when they see the water, if there is a pure air molecule, you can't do anything. But the water molecule, it hits. If the storm is coming towards you, that shift, the waves get crunched, so you get the faster way. You can get the measure the approach, the velocity, the speed of the storm. You can measure. If it is going away, the storm going away, you can tell from the Doppler effect. So radar Doppler, you can use the radio waves, you can use the microwaves, you can use the light waves, you can use anything. It's the sound waves. All of them Doppler effect. You can do the Doppler effect. That is a great about the Doppler effect. But the most important is sound and light. You can apply both of them. Then you see in the body, ultrasound uses a lot of Doppler. Ultrasound is a frequency that is higher than a regular, that is visible hearing capacity, that you go beyond the hearing abilities. That is, ultrasound is you can do entire body ultrasound. You can see without cutting a body, without doing any invasions, any surgeries. You can literally screen the body through entire ultrasound, through the entire. The woman has a couple of more the pelvic ultrasound, OB ultrasound. We do that. So I used to provide ultrasound services for the doctors. So that's I know very well about ultrasound. So ultrasound can literally entire body. You can image the entire body from a toe to the bottom. You got a PAD and ABI index. You can do orthochlorosis diffusion, and you can do bilateral vascular. You can do the abdominal. You can do ultrasound of the echo and aorta and carotid, and then transcranial. You can do top to bottom. You can do that ultrasound. That is the power of the ultrasound. So the Doppler effect was invented by Christians. That is a Christian Doppler. He is from Europe, Austria, and then after that there is a gentleman from United States actually used a gallbladder for animals. He majored in the he's a military guy from Pennsylvania. He did that, and then in London, England, that is a doctor. I can't see the name very clear, but I think Donald. I think his name is also Ian Donald. He was the first one who did the baby picture and the ultrasound for the humans. So these are three pioneers in the ultrasound business, ultrasound inventions and discoveries. That is the first baby. The Smithsonian Institution is there. That's the first baby ultrasound picture. That is Smithsonian. Ian Donaldson he's at the University of Glasgow. He did the Scotland. He did the image of the first ultrasound picture of the baby from the tummy. Can you? That is the first ultrasound in the 1960s, 50s, and 60s. It's a very relatively new. So, so Don Becker is the guy is interested. I can tell you about the Don Becker. His name, that's the one I want to talk with you about. He came from a U.S. Air Force base. Okay, he was working in the U.S. Air Force in South Korea. So Don Becker was born in Alaska. He moved to Seattle and he was working as a technician in Boeing. And then he went to the South Korea in the South Korean War, and then came back and he was working in the Boeing wind tunnel. Then he was working in the University of Washington. He's studying electrical engineering. And when he got the project of doing ultrasounds there, then he was he started this amazing discoveries he did. He was a brilliant engineer. Doppler effect, he used it for the heart. He's the first one realized that you can do the heart to the heart through the color the Doppler effect. You can use the Doppler effect, so you can put the probe against the blood cell is coming towards you or going away from you. The faster it is coming, you know that if it's a narrowed vessel, it is going faster. If the narrowed coronary artery, it is going to go faster. If it is a expanded one, is a normal one, it can measure the speed of the blood cells, and then it can tell you ejection fraction and all those things you do for the heart. Well, you can see the entire heart now. That's what he did. In That is a Don Baker. He was working with the University of Washington. He was ultrasound images of the heart. He produced with the continuous wave Doppler. Continuous wave Doppler is sending the waves, sound waves, and ultrasound, and see the images back. But one thing is a brilliant is he got a very good insight. Something he found out from the radar when he's working in South Korea. The best way to find out is pulsed wave. Instead of continuous wave Doppler, you can do the pulsed wave Doppler. So send it by frequencies, just one by one. Send it there, and then they return it back. The reflection that can give you much more about the heart, about the structure of the heart, and you can see a lot more about the heart. I think he literally saved. This is the one he discovered and invented. Don Becker. He started a company in his backyard. So Don Becker, a brilliant idea of the continuous wave Doppler to the pulse wave Doppler. That is a brilliant, ingenious idea that they came out with. So he started a company called Advanced Technology Laboratories, ATL, in Seattle. That is in Bellevue. That's my office. Is actually that I located at Bellevue, Washington. In the Washington State. He started at University of Washington. Is not that far. So he started the Advanced Technology Laboratory from the garage. It became a billion company. That's the only company doing a commercial ultrasound in the country. I used to buy them. You know, it is a $1 billion. It reached the first medical device company reached a $1 billion. It was in 14 different countries, 60 distributors around the world. Is 24 patents he got it. I used it that actually ultrasound, Ultramark 4, ATL Ultramark 4. We used to do OBGYN ultrasounds quite a bit. So Don Becker really is a pioneer in the ultrasound. Now you can use ultrasound waves for the elastography, the shear wave. You can manipulate the different kind of technologies. You can use it. Shear wave is like you can transfer the regular waves, or you can find fibrosis, for example, for the liver. If you use a different technology, that livers now they are using shear wave technology. That dense breast, for example, you need a shear wave. You can use a different kind of ultrasound instead of cutting a biopsies. You don't want to do too many biopsies there. So you can prostate also, you can do entire organ. It covers the entire organ. It's not a sample of the organ. So that's a new technologies. Elastography is coming. Shear wave technology it uses. But that is a stage of liver cancer, liver stages you can tell. One of my mentor and a friend, Dr. Naveenanda, wrote the first book on the color, one of the first books on the echocardiography, Atlas of echocardiography, color Doppler echocardiography. Dr. Nanda, if you're watching, sir, it's a first book in the very all the students used to follow, all the text follow like a regular, all the doctors. That really opened up entire cardiology field into the next level. Then you see the contrast enhanced ultrasound. Now we can send a micro bubbles. They replaces you can also targeted drug delivery. You can use ultrasound where that drug can be delivered. You can use sound waves to send the nanoparticles, nano deliveries. You can do that through the process here in the contrast. So they actually you can send the bubbles and they blow up when they reach the target. So with a little bit of sound waves, it will know that. Then it is a really very advanced. It's called a contrast enhanced ultrasound. It is an amazing. You can do even a stethoscope, for example. They can give a contrast, and then you can see nuclear thallium is expensive. You can replace with a stethoscope. With that one actually is a lot cheaper. The contrasted echo, you can do that. So Don Becker, so Joseph Fourier, he was a mathematics. He created a mathematical framework for this Doppler, and he gave ultrasound detection. It became a very big because of the mathematical background. Pancreatic cancers. Now we can find out. So one of the toughest challenges to detect is a pancreatic cancer. So any anomalies in the pancreas is a very challenging one. So Joseph Fourier is a 1768. As Dr. Baer was telling, things didn't change. We use 1700 mathematics to find the advanced cancer in the pancreas. Think about that advanced technologies. We actually use a old traditional math from 1700 to detect pancreatic cancer. So Doppler effect is a ATL. It is a Don Becker is the one. He did that. The Doppler building, the Amazon headquarters now is called Doppler building because Seattle became a very famous selling first company to become not Jeff Bezos, not Bill Gates. Nobody was popular. He was very popular. Don Becker really put the Seattle in the world map through his ultrasound machines. He sold all over the world. So he is really truly remarkable. He was a professor in the University of Washington. He became a professor, and in 2018 he died. I'm going to play a short video before his final interview, and if you don't mind, I will play his interview. That 1 minute interview. Okay. So just a minute. Let me play. Yeah.
He wanted to characterize the cardiovascular system in engineering terms. That means measurement of dimensions, blood flow, and pressure.
You were really the driving force behind the invention of ultrasound imaging, which has become a multi-billion-dollar industry around the world and has impacted tens of millions of people's lives, right?
Yes, that's correct. We had the good fortune. At first, we started with the continuous wave blood flow. And because of the limitations of that, we could not navigate around within the heart. We could not evaluate in a child a septal defect, a hole between the cheeks. So that led to the development of the pulse Doppler. The pulse Doppler allowed us to know where in the body we were. By combining the Doppler with imaging and overlaying the flow, that led to the color flow, and it gives you multidimensional information about the subject. And that was a whole system.
So how does it feel to be the father of an industry that has changed people's
So, so that is the Don Baker. He died in February 2018 recently. He's a brilliant engineer. You know, we need to be woe to these people. Doesn't matter what their race or what the people are. People who really contribute to the humanity. These are the people we cannot go unnoticed. That's why my job is to bring these brilliant people to the front lines and they explain to the world, that everything is noticeable. Let me bring Dr. Baer on the line.
He wanted to characterize the cardiovascular system.
Sorry, let me bring Dr. Baer.
That was Baker, not Bear.
That's a Baker and a Baer. Yeah, you're very close. Yeah, tell us. Okay, so what do you think? You know about him, or have you heard about him before?
No, I'm fascinating. I never did hear of him, and it's just amazing. Some guy from Alaska, and he was in the military, and just sheer genius developed this technique of pulse Doppler to really save millions of lives,
Millions of people
in the early diagnoses and heart diagnoses and things like that.
Yeah. He's an unsung hero, in that sense. I bought a lot of his machines. I used to sell those machines, and I used to go and to provide ultrasound services to the doctor's offices. People like your office, I used to go there, and I have technicians used to go there and do the service, because at the time they could not afford. It's like refrigerator size machines. That's all.
Now they're just little microphones.
Microphones. It's my new friend. We are talking about a new imaging. Exo imaging is a very few blocks from here, and they're producing one of the fascinating technology they're producing. And then they connect with the iPhone, it spits out the entire images. Beautiful images. Dr. Baer, let us talk about your website. What is the website you have? Let me put your website.
Oh, thank you. It's www.
Okay, I'm going to put your website on your.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you call www? What? Go ahead.
Medi MEDI Teddy TEDDI.com.
MED. The one word MEDTED.
Yeah, and it's with I's, no Y's. Medi Teddy.
Okay.
.com. And we it is for sale on the website. It's not just sold to physician's office, that type of thing. Anybody can buy one. We also have a service where we call you every week, every 1, 2, or 4 times a month to follow up on your adherence and see how you're doing with your medications. So that's also a service. And I also have a patient that crochets pants and dresses for the bears, because she's dressed her bear in a lot of different outfits.
Okay. Mediteddy.com. I think I did. Yeah, I hope that I did right. Can you see that?
I can't see what you're seeing.
No, in the bottom of your. Now we see bottom of your picture.
Oh yeah. Great. Thank you. That's exactly right.
Mediteddy.com, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Bayer. It's a privilege and talking with you. You know that we have a common friend, Charlie. What is her name? She introduced me to you.
Yes.
She's
What is her name?
San Quentin. near Bakersfield. No, not Bakersfield. That is what is that name? Forgot about. There's a common friend introduced me to you.
Yeah. She's a specialist in autism services.
Autism
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah, I forgot her name too, though. So, but she's a
Yeah,
great lady.
she mentioned you about that. Thank you so much. It's a truly honor. Sorry, sir. Thank you for
I appreciate it.
coming.
I appreciate it. I learned a lot about Doppler today, so I really appreciate that as well.
No, thank you, sir. Thank
All
you
right.
for coming on the show.
Have a great week.
Okay, bye-bye. Good night, all of you.
Good night.
Good night, all of you guys. So thank you all for coming.
Telling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it